Coach, is that the read that Donovan kind of hasn't made all series, that final lob to Rudy?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I think he made that read the first play of game one. I think he made it again. We threw the ball in first three possessions of game one. So we got to take what the defense gives us, and he read that great and threw a great pass. Sometimes it's not as easy to throw that ball up there like that than people think, But I thought we took our shots tonight, and what I mean by that is not necessarily. What I mean by that is when you catch a pass and it's coming from a teammate, and your teammate's telling you knock it down, it becomes our shot. It's not one guy who has to make a shot. It's a shot that our team is taking, and I think that that mindset from the very beginning of the game, and we can shoot it better, but there are shots, and I think that with this group too, we defended to win tonight in the fourth quarter, and can't say enough about Bojan and his competitiveness, and I thought that raised everybody's level. All of our smalls, really making more urgent, more alert. And some of the rotations, they still got, a bunch of threes, but I think they were more contested, and they were contested by different guys. In the third quarter when, Dallas is, they're one of the best teams in the league, and they've shown that, particularly even since the trade deadline. They've been so good. So they're going to make a run, and they made a run, particularly at the beginning of the third. And I thought the way that we responded to that was not like a blitzkrieg type response. It was a response over time, which requires more mental toughness. When you can't just make a spurt and all of a sudden get it back. You have to grind it out, and that's what I saw from our team tonight. Is just a defensive will. And the willingness to get in the lane and create shots for each other.
You touched on it earlier.
How sweet is it, Quin, for Donovan to find Rudy in that situation, given the spotlight that's been on that partnership?
Yeah, I mean, that metaphoric on some level. I've not bought into that spotlight as much as some, because I know how difficult it is sometimes to have those two-man games work perfectly when a team is literally focusing their whole defense on making that hard. In game one, Powell was jumping to the ceiling trying to make that pass hard, and Colbert is blacking, which makes it hard to make that pass from the ball. We've got to kick the ball ahead, so but not to take anything away from that play. I think the two of them, I didn't see it, but I was told they both jumped pretty high at the end of the game and felt some satisfaction from that play. So that's good to see, and obviously not to be discounted, given, as you said, some of the attention and we've had attention and focus on a lot of things this year. So, to the extent that we stayed together tonight and believed in the game plan and the way we had to play and executed and competed, there was just a lot of good things, and it's 2-2. So it's just like, you can't get too high, you can't get too low, and Game 5's coming quick.
You touched on earlier about Bogey and his competitiveness. What went into the decision to putting him off Brunson and Luka, and just can you speak to that in general?
Well, if you watch the first few games, we had a hard time keeping the ball out of the paint, and felt like size, could help, particularly given the strength that Brunson and Luka play with. Those are big, strong guys that are really poised in the lane, and they're knocking us off balance. Clean plays, just using their physicality. And both Royce and Bojan, and I thought Daniel when he was in the game, and really all of our smalls. Some of them weren't on the ball, but the job that they did off the ball, to rotate and make things harder. But keeping the ball in the middle of the paint, at least giving it an angle, gives us a chance to recover. And I think that's the discipline that we showed in that regard. obviously not perfect. Breakdowns happen all the time against great players, but I thought there was much more of a sense of purpose of what we could do to help one another and to allow ourselves to help one another.
Quinn, Donovan had kind of a quiet second and third quarter. What was really the difference for him in those last couple minutes where he gets a couple big baskets, gets that big assist to Rudy, made a couple of other plays?
I guess the way I would describe that's kind of the way the game goes. You don't have 10 in every quarter, and you take what the defense gives you, and as an example, that last play probably epitomized that. That's letting the game come to you. I thought Donovan didn't shoot it as well as I know he wants to and he can, but that didn't deter him in any way from the way that he played. And a lot of the plays that he made, when we look at it and we judge a player by their box score, doesn't tell the story of him creating, drawing the defense, and finding other people. And if that means he has a 2-point quarter, I don't think he really cares. He just wants us to have a quarter that's a winning quarter. And Donovan wants to win. And like every team, like every player, you're figuring that stuff out as you go, and that's what the playoffs are about. And he's got a lot to be proud of tonight, the way that he played, and as do a lot of our guys. Juancho comes in, hits a couple big shots, takes a charge. Hassan was terrific. After being taken out, he thought he got taken out of the game because someone hit a shot and 5 out. That wasn't it. That had been happening to our team, but it was an opportunity to go small, and he came back tonight, shot out of a cannon, and really gave us a big lift. So we had contributions, all across the board. JC, obviously, the way that he's playing, finished the game, and then Mike came in for offense and made a great play, a great pass after being on the bench for a couple minutes to find Donovan in the corner. So just to, when you talk about team efforts, those are the games that I think teams enjoy the most, and that's what we had tonight, and that's what we're going to need, going forward.
On the final play, were you intent on doubling Luka and getting the ball out of his hands and making someone else beat you?
Yeah, those decisions, I think you guys have asked me about adjustments a lot, and I think the key thing is to be prepared to be able to make them. And then, if they end up hitting somebody on a roll and there's a dunk, you get asked why did you blitz the pick and roll? But at the same time, Luka had hit a couple over Rudy. I think earlier in the year he missed a couple of those, but I think he thrives in that moment, and so try to make someone else beat you is with a player like that at a time like that in the game. And again, that's not something that you necessarily want to be predictable with all the time, but sometimes it's flip a coin, and they don't score and it looks like you did something smart, and if they do, you did something dumb. So we'll leave it at that.
Be guarding Brunson for parts of this game, and was that something you asked for? Is that Quinn's idea? How does that unfold?
I mean, that's coach's idea, and also I wanted to guard their best players. When we realized that Luka is gonna play, it was question who's Roy's gonna guard, and they ended up with the idea to put me on a Doncic and kind of try to pressure him full court and bother him. But we did a great job, like whole team defensively. We had a way more energy than the last game.
How tiring is it to guard, two great players like that for 94 feet through all those screens? And what's the energy level required to do that?
I mean, a lot of energy you spend guarding full court, and especially because they are involved in every single action. They are running their pick and rolls. We kind of changed a little bit our rotation and pick and roll small, and I think that was the biggest key tonight.
Why do you think the energy level was different tonight?
I mean, just the way that we lost last game, like playing playing really bad without any kind of energy, letting them to laying the ball inside and having wide open shot kind of hit us pretty bad. We had also a conversation and we watched the film and we said that's not who we are. We got to be at least more energy, show that we want to win. We had one offensive rebound last game and we forced just 2 or 3 turnovers. I don't know, so that show how how bad we were last game.
When you look at the energy level that you guys play with tonight and the defense the way you guys play defensively, how sustainable is that to carry over into Game 5 and into Game 6?
I think that it's great W for us, especially because we won the game with our defense, and that's who we are. That's what we have to bring every single night. And I mean, great win. We got a next game. We got to watch the film what we did well or what we did bad. But just our rotation and our energy defensively were on different level.
Was this as loud as you've heard this play, especially during those free throws?
Yeah, the atmosphere was amazing. Even last game they were trying to push us, but we were not there. But yeah, great atmosphere. It was pretty loud. Powell missed both free throws on that one. So yeah.
You mentioned wanting to bother those guys as you were defending them, as you were picking up runs in full court. Beyond that, beyond simply just being a pest, was that like kind of the extent of it, or what were you trying to do to force them into the push they got? Because Brunson he started off, with a much slower first half than what he had.
I mean, they are great players. They can make plays both for themselves and for their teammates, especially Luka with his size and ability to handle the pick and roll. I mean, it's really tough because we gave them confidence and energy last 2 games the way we lost. So it was really tough game tonight. But thank God we got W and we are back right now.
You guys had a double-digit lead at halftime, and then third quarter they came back, took the lead. We've seen you guys not be able to overcome that at different times in the regular season. What was different about the fourth quarter tonight?
The crowd was different. They gave us energy. They really support us in those bad moments. And the run that they had, they scored more than 35, 39 points in third quarter. I think that was also our offense. We kind of stopped to move the ball in third quarter and with some bad shots, and they were able to run on our backs and hit those like early threes. But then fourth quarter we did a great job once again on defensively and we closed the game.